All right, everyone. If I could just real quick remind you that if you are not speaking, that you put your line on mute. Let me get rid of that because that looks weird. Okay, my name's Tiffany Bradbury. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for the City of Roanoke, and I have with me today Battalion Chief Trevor Shannon. He's our Battalion Chief of Emergency Management here in the city, and I think I might have on the phone Jonathan Simmons from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. Jonathan, are you there? And I will see, Trevor, can you flip your phone to be horizontal? Okay,
yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay, and what we'll do.
Is that better?
Yes, that's much better. And what we'll do, I don't know if Jonathan is on the phone with us, but what we're going to do is I'm going to let Trevor give you a brief update as to what is happening here in the city of Roanoke, what you need to know, and then we're going to have opportunity for questions. You guys can just pop those in the chat. So Trevor, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Tiffany. So overnight, the city of Roanoke had 3 different vehicles with 6 occupants where we performed rescues from floodwaters. We were in very close contact with the National Weather Service as well as the Virginia Department of Emergency Management and all of our local and regional partners, maintaining a watch on this weather. Several different factors came into play through the night. We ended up evacuating 13 different structures in the southwest area of Dyerly Road due to the Spring Valley Lake Dam hitting its 3rd stage threat. And while that did cause some concern, we have maintained very close contact with them. They have been monitoring that situation with someone on the watch the entire time since about 2 o'clock this morning when we started our evacuations. We have continued contact with the National Weather Service and our local partners. We've activated our EOC, and we are operating with all of our partners in that EOC at this time, performing additional evacuations. So at this point, we have also notified and evacuated 60 different residents in the Piedmont area of southeast Roanoke City, and also are now looking at the Ramada Inn on Franklin Road. We have been in contact with a daycare who has also been evacuated that is near Carilion Roanoke Memorial, and we are continuing to watch the weather and make those evacuation notices when necessary.
All right, so I guess this is the time that we open this up. A big thing that I know Chief Shannon wants to reiterate to everyone is to make sure to remind folks not to drive through flooded roadways, not to drive around barricades. Be aware if you do live in an area that floods. So what questions do you all have that I can give to Trevor? Okay, Trevor, are evacuations like this common?
No, this has not been a common, I can't say that evacuations are common in the city. Of course, we always have our flood threats, and we deal with these flood threats differently each time because it's not always the Roanoke River that causes us problem. It's the tributaries, the creeks, the other situations, the flash flooding that really gets us. However, this event has been different. This has dropped a significant amount of rainfall. We were on a conference call at 10:30, and to be perfectly honest with you, this is a lot of rainfall for the valley. This is a significant amount of rainfall over the past many years. So we're dealing with something very different. The evacuations that we've done have been done out of abundance of caution. However, we've also had water touching some of the doorsteps of these homes where we've made these evacuations. So like I said, we're monitoring very closely. We are in close contact with the National Weather Service to make sure we do things right and to keep everybody safe.
Okay. I don't know if you know this, Trevor, about was there a specific incident that prompted the evacuation of Spring Valley, and who owns that dam?
So the Spring Valley Lake Dam is owned privately, multiple different partners in that dam ownership. However, they work closely with us, and they were very diligent with their emergency operations plan that once they hit phase 2 last night, they notified emergency management, and we responded over there. We talked to them for roughly a half an hour to an hour. We worked through the emergency operations plan, and we continued to monitor. At level 2, that was hourly monitoring of the dam. Once we hit the 1 a.m., 2 a.m. area, that's when we were notified that it had gone into level 3 because of that monitoring. where they had roughly 12 inches of water flowing through each of their 36-inch pipes under the dam. That put us at level 3. And that's when we went ahead and activated the level 3 notifications. We notified the Virginia Department of Emergency Management and went ahead with the evacuation orders.
Okay. And just to clarify, were 60 people or 60 homes evacuated? It's 60 people, correct?
It was 60 structures that we sent units to from public safety, who went out and completed that task roughly 30 minutes to 45 minutes ago.
All right, and a big shout out to our emergency personnel that have been working all night, and then our folks also with barricades. So they've been doing an amazing job. Do you know when you can expect the Roanoke River or creeks to crest?
According to our last call, we are looking at a roughly 2 o'clock today crest period of the Roanoke River, which puts it right at 16 feet, which is major flood stage. These flood stages are historically 16 feet would be major. However, we're in the process of closely monitoring this storm because of all the mitigation efforts that have been done on the Roanoke River and surrounding areas. So while it puts us at a major flood stage, we can only hope that it keeps us more in the moderate.
Okay. And when is it expected the people evacuated could possibly get back into their homes? And where have they been evacuated to?
So we've been working with the American Red Cross, who has been utilizing hotel rooms for sheltering. And many people are asking about shelters opening up in the city. And because of the coronavirus and the declaration that we've had with that incident, we have not been able to follow through with our normal channels of evacuations and shelter operations. The American Red Cross has been great to work with. They have coordinated all of our shelter operations to this point. I will also say that a majority of the residents last night chose to find a relative or friend to go stay with. And so that is also an option. We are not forcing anybody to go to our shelter location or to go with the Red Cross. We're only encouraging them to evacuate their residents because of the impending floodwaters.
Okay. And one other question we have, can you talk about those phases? I guess the criteria for the dam, I think you touched on it a little, but there's 3 phases, I think, with the dam.
Correct. So phase 1 is kind of the monitoring. There, the residents out there and the there's 2 points of contact out there who are very knowledgeable about the dam, and they pay very close attention to that when there's severe weather. They have been a great resource for us. They've been communicating with us constantly throughout the evening and through the night. We talked to them this morning. They even had a dam safety engineer at their facility this morning who did an inspection and was very confident in how it was holding up and running water through it. So again, phase 1 was monitoring. Phase 2 pushed them to an hourly monitoring, and that's when we responded out there. That was a notification to Roanoke City Emergency Management. That put a fire and EMS unit and myself out there talking to the residents and looking at the dam, putting our eyes on it and understanding what it was doing. The phase 3 notification was then around, like I said, 1 or 2 o'clock, and that is the notification to the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, the National Weather Service, and then, of course, possible evacuations. I will add too that level 3, we went ahead with a reverse 911 notification to those homes that were identified in the threat area. It was shortly after that we decided to go ahead with the evacuation. So it was two different warnings alerts for them.
Okay. So I think that kind of answers your question, Shane, about how the engineers right now are feeling confident that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but we just want people to be vigilant. Right, Trevor?
That's correct. I would agree. Yes.
Okay. And do you anticipate any more evacuations? I know you touched on it a little, about is that, if it's Honey Tree or any other evacuations, or is it just something where people need to really monitor, and we'll be monitoring as well?
Yes, we're encouraging everyone to monitor closely, especially if they're in a hazard area. We're looking at situation here that we haven't seen in quite a while. So as I said, we want you to monitor, and we are doing our best to monitor. We have a EOC operation, which is an Emergency Operations Center operation, going right now. With that, we have brought in a GIS mapping specialist to create flood inundation maps that are really helpful for us in identifying those hazard areas. And that's pretty much what we're going off of when we notify these residents. We're going off the anticipated flood threat. Again, this is an abundance of caution. We're not going to say that these maps are 100% guaranteed, but they put us in a very good spot to make a good judgment call.
Okay, and then I think we have one final question about Ramada Inn. If it's evacuated, was that where some of the HAT team and nonprofits have been housing some of the homeless during the pandemic? How would we work through that?
Yes, that's exactly right. They have been housed there. We have been in close contact with staff members from that agency. They were confident this morning that we were going to be able to maintain and shelter in place as those residents are on second and third floors. However, as more and more public safety personnel and staff members from those agencies have put their eyes on the facility, it sounds like, and I cannot confirm this as of walking into this room for this meeting, but we are moving towards an evacuation process. If we do that, we have already had contact with our transportation departments, and we'll work through the coordination of that with the Red Cross. Fully supportive of the move, and we can manage that in a fairly short matter of time. It's just going to be a matter of putting some additional swift water teams in service and making that happen.
Okay. And Henry, I'm not sure how many people are residing there, but you know, that's something that we'll definitely keep our eyes on. I did want to let everyone know we're going to wrap this up because I know Trevor has a million things that he needs to get to. So if you have some questions, you can of course send them to me, but we do have a website. It's roanokeva.gov/flood. That's going to give you a lot of information. Trevor, we're going to cut you loose because I know that that everything's a little bit crazy for you. And Shane, I'll touch base with you offline and we'll get everything answered. But thank you all for participating. If it deems appropriate, we will have another update later this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.